Welcome to the Red Conrad Show, the story of my life and world events how I see them. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get this going.
Hi everyone, this is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the number one way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening!
If you enjoy the show, please subscribe for subscriber-only content. You can find links to subscribe at show.redconrad.com. Subscriptions are available directly through Spotify, as well as through a Memberful account, where you can access subscriber-only content on any podcast listening platform. Whatever platform you prefer to listen to podcasts on, you will be able to listen to my subscriber-only content on that platform via a feed specifically for you through your Memberful account. Again, the links to the subscriptions can be found at show.redconrad.com. Hello, everybody. I apologize for my long absence to those of you who are listening to my show, but I've had a lot going on. With everything going on, I might be, having random areas where I record new episodes, so you could hear some background noise if I'm recording in my home, whether I'm recording in the vehicle when I'm out working. I drive for a living. So during down periods, I might decide to record an episode in my vehicle. So there's a possibility the noise cancellation won't be able to block out all of, wind noises or traffic noises in the background. But I will do the best that I can. This show, I was not planning when I originally started it to be seasonal. It was supposed to be, episodic with series. Some episodes being multiple series because the stories just go on, or could go on, for multiple hours, to fit in enough details to really get the point across of what really was going on at that particular event that I'm talking about. As well as really portray, how my mind interpreted what was happening, how I was viewing things, as opposed to how you or somebody else who doesn't, suffer with the mental conditions that I do may have seen it, or may have dealt with that particular situation that I went through. There's gonna be other stories that I'm talking about that could go on, where it's gonna be multiple episodes long, that has nothing to do with my mental illnesses and how I view things differently than other people. It's just shit stories that I'm going through that, anybody, most people, would be like, well, why the hell are you doing that? Because, well, I wouldn't have done that. You gotta be fucking crazy to be tolerating that shit. So, I'm even with those stories, I will be trying to explain, all the details, what's going on, why I was dealing with that particular situation, or tolerating that particular situation. But anyways, getting back to my point, I apologize to those of you who were following my show, who are listening to my show, for the relatively long absence that I've had. But I've been going through a lot of stuff that I will be covering in an upcoming series. I don't know yet how long this series is going to be, because the situation is kind of sort of still ongoing. There's actually, the primary situation And then within that situation, there's several others that are kind of stemming off, but attached to. So I'm going to be covering all of that, from beginning up to, where I am currently at the point of the last episode or latest episode, was up to what's going on up to that point. Fill everybody in on, what's been happening, why there's been such a long delay between, the last episode and new episodes. But I am going to be recording more frequently. Again, I'm going to do my best to get new episodes up. And, again, for those of you who have been listening from the beginning, and those of you who are new to my show, let's put it out there. Yes, I am doing this for you guys, for my listeners, anybody who's suffering with mental illness, to try to show you, at least inside my head, so you might be able to get a better understanding of certain conditions, particularly BPD. So if you know anybody that suffers with those conditions, even though they might not be exactly 100% like me, because we are all different, there are multiple disorders that work on, a spectrum. But should give you an idea of how they view things and how they might interpret things, or why they react to certain statements or certain situations the way they do, at least in the immediate. And to those who are suffering with mental illness conditions, to let them be aware that they're not alone. There are, various support groups out there, on different social networks that they can join. I'm a member of several across Reddit and Facebook and whatnot, and that you don't need to keep it all bottled up. Whether you join a support group, talk to, fellow sufferers, and get their views on different things, because maybe, the way they view things is a little bit different than how you do, even though you suffer with the same thing. They might be on a different level of the spectrum than you, or have something else going on that just makes theirs that much different than yours. But the fact that you're both sufferers, or you and the entire group are all sufferers of the same condition, you'll be able to understand each other, and to be more comfortable to, talk about what you're going through. But also to let sufferers know that even talking to quote-unquote normal people, that people that don't have your condition, expressing yourself to them, even if they think, at least in the beginning, that you're crazy, it's not an entirely bad idea. If you can hear those notifications in this recording, I apologize for that, but I run my own business. So I get constant notifications between emails and different social networks and all that jazz. My phone more or less dings non-stop throughout the day. Anyways, my point is, getting back to what I was saying, it's okay to talk about how you view things, how you see things, and by doing so, you're letting those in your life that you love and care about understand you better, and through that understanding, they might be able to help you cope with and deal with your condition. I would say get better, but I personally don't believe we're ever actually cured of our conditions. They just kind of go into remission, where the symptoms aren't, active. They're not prevalent. Like we can get it under control, but we got to keep on working on it to keep it under control. If you follow what I'm saying. But anyways, aside from that, I am also primarily doing the show for myself. I need to feel. I need to have a way of getting my thoughts out, express how I feel about different things. I want to be able to look back on my past, not just through memories in my head, but through some form of a journal, whether it be written or audio, so I can go through my past, reevaluate different situations that I've been through, and compare how I handled it back then to how I would handle it, or how I'm handling then current situations compared to how I did it, back then. So this show is as much for me as it is for the public. Whether you're a mental health sufferer or not, I hope you found my show entertaining. I'm assuming if you didn't, you wouldn't still be listening. Anyways, getting back to my original point of this episode, I just want to put out there that the show is coming back. I apologize for the long delay. There is a reason why I wasn't recording for so long, and there is a reason why I may not continue recording, in my home like I started out doing when I first started the show. Hence why I brought up how I might end up recording outdoors, whether it be in my vehicle during a slow period at work, or I might go to the park or down by the water, record there. Do my best to cancel out background noises while I record. There is a reason for all that. It's going to be a multiple episode long series. I don't have an exact date when the first episode of that particular series is going to be posted. I also don't have an exact date of when the first actual episode of this show is going to come back. I also don't know if it's going to go back to being weekly, if it's going to be bi-weekly, if it's going to be monthly. I don't know that yet. I would like to go back to a weekly premise where I got at least one episode going up every week. Preferably one free episode and one subscriber only content episode every week is my goal to get to eventually. I just don't know at the moment if I'm going to go back to that right away, or if I'm going to have space between each new episode while I continue dealing with what it is that I'm dealing with at the moment. What I will say now, just to give an idea of what to expect in the future of this show, particularly the series that I'm going to be recording, discussing why there was such a delay in new recordings, is, well, my life kind of took a big turn. Started to kind of sort of somewhat go in a new direction. Some of the new stuff in my life is, for the better. Some not so much. And some is just a fucking clusterfuck of issues that arose, that I'm trying to get through and will be discussed in upcoming episodes of the show. I don't want to get into it too heavy now, but that should give you a general idea of what all is going to be getting spoken about when I do come back. I am aiming, I know I said I didn't have an exact date, but I'm aiming to have at least an episode or two recorded within the next week or so. Hopefully within the next month, before Christmas. I like to get a couple new episodes up. I'm gonna try to record, as many as I can before I publish them, so I can try to go, on a weekly or bi-weekly basis with new content. So if I'm doing that with already pre-recorded episodes, I can stay a week ahead of myself. But yeah, anyways, the show is coming back. Those of you that listened, I appreciate the support. I will keep on publishing updates. If there's gonna be further delays, I will let everybody know. But yeah, there has been a delay. I'm going to go over that, everything that's going on, what caused the delay, why there might be a change in, how how and when the show publishes new episodes, on the time frequency between new episodes. I'm going to cover all that in an upcoming series. I'm probably going to do that series first, but I might have a couple of episodes in between that series or alongside that series. However, most of the series, if not the entire series, because of what's going on, and that's really all I'm going to say there, just because, is most likely going to be subscriber-only content. So if anybody's interested in, hearing the crazy, fucked up, completely, unhinged, off the wall, batshit crazy fucking story that caused this lengthy delay in my show, I'm gonna have to ask that you subscribe to the paid content, because a good chunk, if not the entire series, is going to be subscriber only content. There will be free episodes coming, so those of you who don't feel like paying for podcast at all, and those of you that judge paying for paid content on a podcast are going by, how entertained am I for how long off the free content, there will still be free content getting posted to the show. But this particular situation, with how crazy it is, how the variety of different things involved in the situation that's going on, I simply can't have a good chunk, the majority of it, if any of it, be put up for free. I can't do it. So therefore, this particular scenario, this particular situation, and all the smaller situations that are stemming off of it, is going to be subscriber-only content. If you're new to my show and you haven't subscribed to the subscriber-only content, I will say that yes, some of my free content may sound a little boring, and no, I might come across as, I'm not very entertaining. I fucking curse a lot. I got other issues that I'm sure you can hear in my voice, in my recording. That's probably more prevalent, easier to hear, as opposed to if it was video format. So you might be a little turned off, paying for the paid content. But I will say that, and I'm not trying to bash myself either. I don't want to view myself in a bad way. But I will say that my free content is a lot more boring, okay? A lot more tame, alright, than my paid content. Subscriber only content has been and will continue to cover all the crazier shit, a lot of scenarios that some people may view as triggers. Well, that's stupid crap. Then yeah, I probably do curse more in some paid content episodes than I do in the free episodes. But anyways, there's a lot more crazy shit, a lot more entertaining shit in subscriber only content. I didn't necessarily plan it that way when I started my show. It just kind of went in that direction because of the stories I'm willing to put out there, open to the public for free, and the type of stories that I'm just not, and for multiple reasons, would rather have as paid subscriber only content. It just kind of went that way. And so, anyways, the majority of this situation is going to be subscriber only content. You are going to have to subscribe to listen to the majority, if not the entire scenario. And for those of you that are plain out nosy and you don't want to maintain the subscription, then subscribe to hear that series, and then when the series is over, unsubscribe again, so you get just the free content after the series is over. I won't mind that. This podcast, this show, is not necessarily used as a source of income as far as how I pay my bills or anything. Alright? Like I said, the show, I started out initially for me. If I build a listenership, that's just a plus. Alright? So, subscribing temporarily just to hear the scenario, and then unsubscribing again at the end of the series, isn't going to faze me none. What I will say though, is if you do subscribe just long enough to hear the series, you might not want to unsubscribe, because you will see the difference between the free content and the paid content. And I'm pretty sure paid content, you are going to agree with me, is far more entertaining than my free content. Now that this message is running way longer than I intended it to, and I've probably repeated myself more times than I wanted to let myself, I'm going to end this here. Again, I apologize for the long delay between episodes. I got new episodes coming up soon. I don't have an exact date yet, but I am hoping to have new content being published within the next month or so. Once the new episodes start publishing, I will let everybody know if it'll be, if it'll go back to weekly or if it'll be bi-weekly or monthly, how that's going to work. And please go to show.redconrad.com for your subscription options, because if you're not listening on Spotify, you're not going to see the option on your podcast platform to subscribe to the paid-only content. But if you go to show.redconrad.com, you will see an option there where you can get the paid content on whatever podcast platform you're listening to the podcast on. You don't need Spotify if you don't already have it for the paid content. Just go to show.redconrad.com and all the information is there of how to get the paid content on the platform you're listening to the show on right now. And follow the Red Conrad Show Facebook page. I've also recently created a new personal profile to go along with the Red Conrad Show on Facebook. You can find links to those on the website at show.redconrad.com as well. For all the updates that are not published directly to the show, to the podcast itself, you'll find all the updates there about when new shows are coming available, new episodes of show are coming available, updates on the frequency of new episodes being published, topics that will be coming up in future episodes, all that fun stuff will be posted to the blog on the website and the Facebook pages. So once again, I thank you all for listening. I appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next episode as soon as it is recorded and published. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Red Conrad Show. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, if you're not listening on Spotify, Spotify is the home of my subscription-only content. So any stories you want to hear that have part one or they're missing pieces on the free side, you gotta hop over to Spotify and subscribe to the subscription content to get the missing pieces of those particular stories. I will see you in the next episode.